We observed that many people don't go with the gospel because they don't have the answers to three questions. First, why? They're not convinced that spreading the gospel is for everybody, every follower of Christ. They will say, that's not my giftedness. God sends professionals, evangelists, pastors on the field. One young pastor went to mega church senior pastor and asked him, look, I read in the Bible that we all have to be involved on the area of evangelism. How is that going in your life? And he said, I don't do that. My parishioners have to do that. And after that, he spoke with many people in his church and asked them, how is that going in their life? And they said, that's not our duty, that's our pastor's duty. So many people are not convinced why they should go, and that's why I would suggest read 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17 to 19, read Matthew 24, verse 44, read Romans from chapter 10, from verse 9 to 17, where Paul says, nobody will get saved unless will call upon the name of the Lord. That means to surrender completely. And nobody will do that unless will be convinced completely, will believe. And nobody will believe unless will hear or will listen to the Word of God. And how the people will listen or will hear the Word of God if you who are sent by Jesus will not go? So should be those who are sent, they should move, they should go to those people. And praise the Lord that God sent us and equipped us with the power. And that's why to be on the field, you need the power of Jesus Christ. But the second question, where you should start, where you should go to. So, and look at Mark chapter 5, when a troublemaker, like that demon-possessed person who was bothering the whole city, the whole town, they will chain him in some remote place on the cemetery to not hear that scream of his. When he was released by Jesus, he immediately wanted to follow Jesus, and Jesus said, no, go to your oikos. What's oikos? Oikos is a Greek word, means your household, and that includes much more than your immediate family. That includes your co-workers, your neighbors, your friends. That means your circle of influence or relationship, your social network. So go to them. Why? Because the gospel in the first century traveled from one social network to another social network. So when you have relationship in place, that's much easier to start a conversation. If somebody will step into this room and will say, hey, I use this cream and look, my face is different, you'll immediately be interested to buy that cream. But if some salesperson will come and will say, this cream makes miracle and you'll get rid of your wrinkles, you'll not believe when some information comes from a trustworthy source. You immediately react different. So what's a oikos? Let's do the following exercise. Just write down in the form of a list 20 names, at least 20 names. You can use your address book on your phone and write down 20 names of people they know you. That could be anybody. After you make that list, I would ask you to do the following. Mark by every name, mark with the plus those people that they are believers. They are committed believers in Jesus Christ. Then mark every name which that they are far away from God. And mark with minus those who don't have the relationship with God. So with the plus, those who are committed to God, with minus, those who are far away from God. Then mark with the question mark everyone you simply don't know. Is he with God or not? Then you can explain to yourself, if you have the majority of the names marked with plus, that means that you surrounded yourself only with believers, and that's good because you can encourage, you can help them to grow, but that means that it will be hard for you to start a discipleship process in your community. If you have a lot of minuses, that means that you have enough friends to start a Discover Bible group with them. But if you have many people with a question mark, that means that you have many relations, but not deep enough. You don't know where those people are, so you didn't spend enough time with them. So it's time to get closer to them and then pray. Pray over this list and let God guide you to those people you have to call this week or even visit. So that's a good start. Start with this list. When you will analyze your life, you will find different areas. And let's define at least 3 areas of your oikos. So if we will make a circle and we'll call it your oikos, your social network, your immediate surroundings. Then divide it in 3. And one part will be your relational oikos. That means people you have relations with. So relatives, extended family, co-workers, friends, and so on. Then you have another area, the area of interest. Could be, let's say, your body's on the field where you play football or volleyball. Could be a lot of people, let's say, at your work, your colleagues. So maybe members of the same club, sport club, or any other club of interest. So then the third area is people which you don't have close relationship. We call them acquaintances. So 3 area of oikos. The relational oikos, the oikos of interest, and that area of people you meet occasionally, like in the bank, or your hairdresser, or I don't know, the person you meet daily, but you don't have relationship, you don't have any common interest. So if you can put names in each part of this circle, for example, just count everyone you think that you have a relationship with. Then count everyone, again, you can use your address book on your phone, which you have some common interest. Then count everyone which you meet occasionally, but you don't know those people close enough. Maybe you know them by name. If you see those 3 areas, most likely you'll find more than 20 people in all those areas. So then just try to, if you are a group of people who try to get involved in discipleship process, then if you are 10 people by 20 contacts each, that means that you have 200 people who can be influenced right away. But you'll find that each person has much more people. So where you should start? You should start with these people you have relations, or with these people you know. But that's not enough. If you are active enough, you'll run out of people in no time, in 1 month maybe, and that's why you have to increase the number of people you know. That's why you have to take the initiative to start a conversation. I start the conversation everywhere. For example, I live in the U.S. and many times I'm saying, listen, I'm a foreigner, but I'm very interested in what's happening in this country. Can you tell me, is U.S. more or less or the same spiritual as was 5 years ago? And people will say, yes, yeah, it's more or less. And then I am asking, listen, how about you? Do you go to any church, mosque, synagogue? How often do you pray? And may I ask you a personal question? From 1 to 10, how sure are you that God even exists? And that he cares about you? And then I'm saying, listen, from 1 to 10, how sure are you that if you'll die tonight, you'll make it to heaven? Oh, 5. Many people will say, and if God will meet you in heaven and will say, hey, here is my heaven, just give me a reason why I should allow you in. And people give different reasons, but at least you can start a spiritual conversation. Let's say that you are not so bold and you cannot start so boldly. Then ask, listen, if you would meet an angel and he will say, listen, ask a wish from me, what that wish would be. Let me pray about. Or you can start conversation even straightly. Listen, do you read the Bible? Oh, no. Do you know what is the Bible all about? Would you be interested to get together and to just to discover a lesson from the Bible? So you have hundreds of ways to start a conversation and to check if that person is interested even in spiritual matters. Sometimes you can even not talk, but to draw the attention of the people towards you because of Shema. What's a Shema? From Deuteronomy 6, verse 4 to 9, you know that the profession of faith for any Jewish people would be Shema. Oh, hear Israel, the God is one. So Shema literally means hear, listen, but the meaning is much deeper, meaning listen, keep, and obey. So when you live the life of Christ, you'll draw attention to you. So many people will say, why are you doing this? Sometimes we go on the field, for example, with, let's say on the hiking trail, we take water and we just deliver free water and we'll say, God bless you. And many people are saying, why do you do that? What's the catch? And I'm saying, no catch, but let me tell you that Jesus shows such a great love towards me, and I can do at least a small thing, just deliver him some water. So, if you live the life of Christ, we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, and they will ask questions. They will be interested. What's happening? Why you are so different from them? So. You can start a project, for example, to get into community and to look for a person of peace. For example, I know a group of doctors, they went to a church and they started to invite people and to help them medically. And even in that week, more than 30 people accepted Christ. So you can go with any project into community to help the poor. I know another group, they will go from house to house to ask how they can help. And they do different work, and immediately people are asking why you are doing this. Where I know another group, they simply a huge group of more than 1,000 people, but they started with 2. They go from house to house and they are saying, listen, we don't sell anything. We are not presenting a church here or organization. We just came to find out if you have any needs, because we are here, a group of people who would like to pray for you. And then you find many houses of peace, those who open up to the gospel. So God gave us creativity to find lots of way how to get into community. The only thing is to start to do that. So, for example, just make your focus for the next 3 months to initiate 15 new relationships. I met one time a pastor, and then I asked him, how many people you know who doesn't know Christ and who you can call and actually start a conversation? He said only 4. Then next month when I met him, I asked him again, but he said, I know 49. What happened? He started to go where people are gathering, and very soon they were presenting him. He's a pastor. He didn't present himself as a pastor, but he wanted to be close to the people, and immediately many people opened up to him. There are a lot of ways to find this person of peace if you are close to the people. Let me tell you, one time in a restricted country, I went to a sauna, a bath, a traditional Eastern bath, and I tried to initiate a conversation saying, listen, I'm a follower of Christ, but I started to read Quran and I have many questions. Can you help me? And he said, what question? And they said, reading the Quran, I came across to that verse which says that Jesus died and resurrected, and that's the plan of God. And if you don't believe that, you'll be cursed forever. And what do you think about that? And he said, look, you can come next day to my office and we'll have a discussion because my English is not so good. Next day, I was in his office. He was actually president of the company. He stopped the work, brought the employees all together, brought actually a translator. And I had an opportunity to share the gospel. It was amazing. Then he loaded us in cars and brought to his house and invited his neighbors. And he said, this is a priest from God. Listen to him. God is giving you amazing opportunity if you will just decide to obey and to go where people are. Don't expect for people to initiate discussions. You have to be the one to start those discussions, and you will see that maybe people are scared of church because they think that that's a system, that's a rigid system. But you'll see that people are interested. Many people are interested in God. You'll discover those people who are prepared by God to listen to the message of the gospel. But for that, you have to go. You have to make the step. May God bless you.